All right, class, welcome back. Our next video will cover learning objective 1.6, which is identify the major subfields of psychology. Now, you will find that this particular video is also a little bit meaty because we're going to talk about the subfields of psychology and how it functions or operates to help pretty much the world. So we're going to start with one of the first subfields, which is experimental psychology. It's important to note that experimental psychology has its roots in structuralism. And this field conducts basic research on sensations, perceptions, learning, emotion, and motivation. Now, when we hear the word basic research, we understand that someone is conducting research just to expand the current knowledge of sensations and perceptions, learning, and motivation. You'll find experimental psychologists typically in a university. In fact, you'll find that the University of Alabama, as well as the University of Alabama in Birmingham, has a program for experimental psychology. The next field of psychology is also significant. It's developmental psychology. This field is extremely needed as it provides research, basic and applied research, to understand how we develop over our lifespan. This field takes different aspects of the lifespan, such as our physical development, our social and emotional development, as well as our cognitive development. And they dissect the different changes or what's prompting us to change within our lifespan. You'll also find that they compare and contrast different generations to see how we are managing certain life issues within our lives. So that is developmental psychology. Biopsychology, or what some people will identify as neuropsychology. This subfield is exceptionally popular. It's going to research our biological processes that underlie our behavior. It will include things like how our nervous systems function, as well as how biochemicals interact with certain components of our nervous system, as well as genetics. So the biopsychology is attempting to understand the various changes of our behavior that's related to more of a medical standpoint. Our next subfield is social psychology, which is a little bit intriguing to me. Social psychology researches how we interact with others. How is it that other people influence our behaviors, our feelings, and our beliefs? One of the most popular social psychologists that we all know of is Dr. Phil McGraw. He is a social psychologist, and he worked in the law field. You'll find that he worked with different firms, attorneys, things of that nature, in order to understand jury dynamic and how to persuade people to believe you through body language, through speech, just through a whole vast area. So, social psychology. Another subfield of psychology that we have all read about or heard about at least is cognitive psychology. Now, this subfield looks at our mental processes. It's trying to identify how is it that we make decisions, how we use our problem solving skills, and even our memory. So, cognitive psychology is a very popular field, and you'll find that there are several programs, even within the state of Alabama, that offers degrees that meets the demands of cognitive psychology. This next subfield is a field that I recommend individuals to enter in if they enjoy elements of business as well as psychology. Industrial organizational psychology is a significant field as this field attempts to examine people and their workforce environment. IO psychologist works to hire the right person for a company as well as manipulate dynamics within the company in order to have a positive outcome or a positive productivity to make sure the company is receiving their bottom line. Our next field is forensic psychology. Now, everybody has heard of forensic psychology because we've watched shows like Law and Order, SVU, and things of that nature. Forensic psychology very much combines the clinical aspect of psychology as well as the legal system. You'll have people who are licensed psychologists working in the legal system to assess criminals or even assess victims. They're present to make sure that individuals are competent and able to testify, or if they were very competent at the time of a crime. When I say competent, I mean mentally available and able to make decisions for themselves. So, forensic psychology. Our last field is clinical psychology. Now, with this line, this particular subfield, you'll find that it's exceptionally popular as it's used to treat individuals with significant mental health challenges. So, if a person has things like depression, anxiety, schizophrenia, you would go to a clinical psychologist as they are best prepared to address those clinical disorders. Because if those disorders are basically allowed to continue without treatment, it will lessen a person's level of functioning. A clinical psychologist is very much different than a counseling psychologist. A counseling psychologist provides treatment for minor adjustment issues like issues within your family, family dynamic, or marital issues. So, clinical psychology is for major mental health issues, and counseling psychology is more for adjustment issues. So, that is it for subfields of psychology. Talk to you soon.